you have like any insight or opinion on like the whole drama with Beyonce not getting nominated for any country awards?
Man, this is a slippery slope too. And I'll hang here with you because I'm willing to with my friends. I think that the body of art was incredible. There's no denying that. Like, I always take all politics out of it before we even talk about those. What did the art actually say? Was it good? Right? And the record was good. I don't know if it was Beyonce's best record. Okay. You know what I mean? It didn't make me feel the way even Renaissance made me feel as a full body of work. But there was 2 or 3 songs on there that I thought could be country song of the year for sure. What she did with Jolene Alone to me could have been, was just unbelievable, you know, and how much Dolly loved it. To me, that's the real tale, right? If Dolly loves it, it's a big deal. So my argument starts with the art. My argument is, I think she should be nominated because the art was worthy of being nominated. The flip side of the argument, this isn't my argument, so I don't want to get crucified or nailed to this cross, is that Nashville is a small community that is trying to keep country music as a boundaryless genre. And I know boundaryless seems like, well, that's the opposite of not putting Beyonce in it, but meaning like they never allowed country to get put in subgenres like rock did. So like they've kind of like, country is one of the last genres left that you could just say there's a country music concert happening and a certain group of people will still just show up. You know what I mean? Like it don't really matter. It's like, you know what I mean? Like you could say there's a pop concert happening and somebody's going, who's going to be there?
Got it.
They could say, hey man, there's a country concert happening down the street, and people will kind of just blindly go based on the consistency of country music. That's being ran by the town of Nashville, my city, where I'm from. But this is being ran from the industry. It's like how, you know, like all the record labels are in New York for hip hop. All of them are for pop in LA, or, you know, how it used to be, whatever. Now it's kind of everywhere. But these people looked at it, the people who are the 20,000 registered, 30,000 registered voters. Like the Grammys only has that many voters, or 60,000 or something, 100,000, whatever it is, right? These people that are in that, look, they are only really hip to what's happening in Nashville. Right? So it's not as malicious as one thinks. It's not like, in my mind, from what I know of these people, the few, I don't know all 16,000 of the voters neither, right? Or I'd fucking win more. But it's like, the ones I know are just more like, they just missed it. Because to them, it was more of like a, you know, it was a big TikTok moment, the Texas Hold'em song. They were like, you know, we're like, in country music, there's, you know, there's 3 award shows, bare minimum, 4 really now, a year that really matter, like to us as a community, like the ACMs, which is the Academy of Country Music, the CMAs, which is the biggest night of country music. This is the one that's coming up. It's the Country Music Association. I won the Best New Artist last year.
Yeah,
that was awesome. The speech.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was that speech. That is the one, though. That's a really big deal. I'm nominated for Entertainer of the Year this year. Wow. This is a huge honor.
Congrats, my God.
And for some of these people, I think they just didn't see the visibility of the album. Not that the album wasn't huge and it wasn't impactful or a great piece of art. They just didn't see the visibility of it. She didn't tour it. It wasn't like Morgan Wallen is like out here selling out 3 stadiums a night like Beyonce did for Renaissance. Now, had the same campaign happened for Renaissance that happened with this album, I would have stood up and been like, this is wrong. Right. You know what I mean? But like to them, it was more of like and this is, I can't speak for all 16,000, and this isn't how I feel. Just what I've heard is like, to them, it just felt like an eclectic art piece to try to broaden the horizons of the space. And they felt like that a nod that's even bigger. Some people in this town feel like what's even bigger than giving her a nod was that Shabuzi broke by being on her album, and he's up for Best New Artist of the Year and looking like a winner.
Yeah.
And he's having a huge year at country radio and a huge year at all the country award shows. And like, he's in Nashville in the community writing.
But he's embedded in the culture.
Yeah, he loves the culture of Nashville.
Whereas Beyonce is a little bit more of an outsider.
And I'm not saying, I don't think that makes it right that she wasn't nominated.
Yeah.
I want to be
She's
clear
a
about that.
colonizer, is what you're saying.
Thank you, Schulz. Thank you, Schulz.
I get that. She's more of a colonizer.
But I'm giving
gentrifier, if you will.
I only want to be the guy who
kind of
takes
using
the
the art form. And I got you. A Kardashian.
That you got it.
Got it.
Wow.
Got it. I got it.
You get what I'm saying?
I get the point you're trying to make. I wouldn't say any of those things. I think she's a brilliant, talented artist. I love lemonade. But it is, I get it. These are the tough things that you gotta work on.
I get it because it's the same in the film world and the Academy.
Nobody asks.
Just go.
I'm saying it's the same. It's the same thing that applies. Like why people see like the nominations. There's 10,000 people in the Academy, and like I would guess what percentage of that's like over 60 that's just been focused on like what Hollywood gives you, what wins at some of the film festivals. So
like
you
when
have
I
to
lost
think
at the Grammys
who's
this
coming
year,
from the outside.
Yeah, I wasn't upset when I lost at the Grammys this year because I knew that to the Grammy audience, I was new.
Right.
So a lot of these people didn't know I was a human until
Right.
they see me on the bill.
Yeah.
And then they see me at the Best New Artist, like performance, and then they see me in the building and they felt my spirit. And now I feel like next year I might have a better I feel like every year I'm building a better chance towards it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
There might have also been a perception where it's just like, if you're the size and success story, just the magnitude of Beyonce, and you pick any other genre to create music in, you're also like one of the most talented human beings ever. You pick any other genre, it's gonna be popular. Like if she decides to do techno, it's gonna be a number one. Like whatever genre she decides to do it. So maybe there's that feeling where it's like, anybody that big that decides to do country is going to have the number one album. They have to be embedded in the culture and really invest time in the culture to be considered like one of these
was it
artists.
really impactful, or was it just Beyonce dropping an album?
Because that she's at the size where she can't be avoided. Like if she decides to put out a rap album, number one. Like anything she puts out
I've
is number
said this
one.
a minute then. I was on record early about this. I'm glad it stood the test of time. Of course, obviously, and there's going to be country music fans that are going to be like, you wasn't welcome here. But it's like, I was so glad she was here. I welcomed her with open arms. Like, I was like...
I think it's great for country.
Same thing I felt about Post. Like, you're telling me...
Great for country.
Do you know how hard it was to get people to, like, especially in the world of music, people would just fly right over Nashville to Memphis. Just didn't even think about it. Whether it was hip hop, blues, soul, anything, Memphis had all the culture. I mean, Nashville just frog jumped over anything that was like country music in itself, country culture. Like what Beyonce did for fucking cowboy hat sales is unheard of.
What?
No, listen, man, this is a true story. I went to the, there's a, right there on Sunset. I wish I could remember his name. My boy Miles was with me that night. He's a cowboy for real. He rides horses. My dude that you thought looked like the crud guy. He went to this shop, and it's like an old school famous spot on Sunset that sells leather belts, leather hats. It's like an old cowboy store right there on Sunset. And he went in there, and the guy said, he's known the guy forever. The guy's been to the store 20, 30 years, something. He goes, how's business? He goes, better than ever. He goes, really? What's happening? He said, two things, Morgan Wallen and Beyonce. That's it. Wow. Literally, that's exactly like, and this is an old man's perspective who probably, doesn't know what's going on in the world. He just knows that a lot more motherfuckers showed up to this store in the last 12 months.
Do you remember,
what I'm saying?
Do you remember when Run DMC and Aerosmith did Walk This Way?
Yeah.
Like, that's an
Adidas. Yeah.
What's that?
No, and then Adidas sales.
And the Adidas things went crazy, but also just it's a great moment for hip hop. It's also a great moment for rock, but this is the time where rock was the dominant form, and then you do a song with this new up-and-coming, exciting genre of music, and it's a smash fucking hit. You don't think that that's going to help Run DMC? Now, I'm not saying that country isn't absolutely, it's probably the most popular right now, but when you take one of the most popular artists of all time, and she decides to embrace the genre, that's great for the genre.
Huge. Yeah. And I think she should have been nominated for that alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I said, but I know how Nashville looked. I think Nashville just missed it. I don't think it was malicious. That's what I will say. I think it was malicious in the they missed it. Like
unjust.
Yeah, like y'all kind of, but I don't think they missed it I don't think it was a turner back to her thing.
I wonder if country...
And I think what she did and her impact is already being proven.